Hello, bitches.
Hello. It's officially the last episode of the first season.
Oh
Wow.
my God. Round of applause for our janky first season. This is so cool.
It is. And we could not decide between 11 or 12 episodes. I mean, 10 or 11, sucks. 10 or 12 episodes.
Kenzie
So
and I
we
can't
just,
count.
no, I can't read. I can't count.
Oh my God, girl.
So
Same.
we decided on 11 because it sounded better. And also, the last full moon of this year just happened. Our last podcast episode of this year is
Oh
happening,
my
of this
God.
season. I feel like it's just magic.
Dude, this is the time. This is the time to reflect and wrap it up and talk some shit.
I love talking shit.
So welcome back to the Professionally Hot podcast because this is the best. I love our podcast.
I know. I feel like it's never, we're gonna still in every single episode we have going forward being like, I love our podcast.
Also, like, okay, after 10 years of doing sex work, like, I think I've been recognized and like approached in public or like whatever outside of AVN, obviously, like,
Mm,
two times. Like, that's it.
yeah.
However, over the last little bit, the amount of like actual, like, in real life friends that have like, A, told you and I, like, oh my God, I love your podcast, or B,
Hmm.
in person have said, like, I'm hanging out with Professionally Hot in real life. Like, this is this. I feel cool as hell all of a
I
sudden.
know, I know. It's really nice. I'm
It
getting
is.
validation from other
Yeah,
places I didn't know existed.
I love external validation. This is the best.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we have a little wrap up episode today for the year just to kind of I feel like these are questions that people can ask themselves, but we're keeping ours very sex work centered
Yeah,
because that's what we do.
because Professionally Hot.
Yeah, but feel free to jot these questions down for yourself to ask
Yeah.
because they are good ones just
Mhm.
to reflect back and think about all of 2023.
Yeah, it's, you know what, and especially if you are a fellow sex worker, like,
Hmm.
this has been a year, and taking time to just like answer these questions for yourself. I think we all need a brainstorm sesh because what the fuck was 2023?
I have no idea. So much. And especially like it wasn't I feel like it was like the first 6 months, it was kind of like, okay, normal disastrous things, at least in my own life. But
Yeah.
the end of 2023 was just like I feel like my birthday hit and then after that it was like just shit storm
Oh, shit
everywhere.
hit the fan.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We got
Yeah,
that
in
one
so many
last
ways.
Mexico trip in, and we were like, things were like starting to get a little weird, but
And
then
then
all
they
of a
got
sudden,
so weird.
yeah, we were like, okay. And then the
Mhm.
last like month of, or maybe like 2 months of this year, it was like, what the actual
Oh yeah,
fuck is
like
going
no holds
on?
bar. You're like, wow, this once again rock bottom. What the hell is going
Yeah,
on?
I thought I hit rock bottom like 2016. I'm back. I'm back,
Yeah,
and
we're
I'm better than ever.
we back, baby.
Yeah,
Okay, you know what? Let's fucking bring it in, Kens. Let's huddle. I'm gonna hold your forehead spiritually
please.
with my hand.
I can feel it.
Okay, good. And let's just jump into this.
Do it. Ashley T is going to ask the questions, so we're
I'm
both
gonna
just going
ask
to
the hard
answer.
questions here. Okay, so the first question is, how do we feel about the time that has passed since the last year, since the beginning of 2023? How are we feeling about it?
Yeah, do you want to go first? I'll let you answer your own
Um,
question.
yeah. Wait, fuck, can't remember what I was gonna say.
It's
Brain
okay.
so fried. Okay, so I mean, I have to say, we're tooting our own horns here, like, super hard. Beep beep. Um, the last year started like this podcast.
Hmm.
How do I feel about the time that has passed? I feel fantastic about having started a podcast, which, by the way, we actually started doing it September 9th. So
Yeah.
it's been like one season. It's been 4 months of this, and it's been so much fun.
Yeah.
But it's also been such a long time in the making. Like, I think at the beginning of 2023, we were thinking, like, we wanted to do the podcast.
Well, do you no, it's actually from 2022 that we recorded our first episode, and it just I think I listened to it and we had two different voice recordings and I couldn't
Oh yeah,
figure out how to sync them up. And even when I did, I was like, this is not, it just wasn't, it wasn't enough. Like
right.
we were jumping into it without really thinking about, and we still jumped into it, but in a very different way. I think having that first episode where like I think we both kind of listened to it and I just remember being like, you know what? We should start when we're actually ready. And
Yeah,
there's like no time to be ready for something, but I feel like when we did start it, it was a lot easier to be like, yes, this is the first episode.
yeah,
Just, you know,
exactly.
so we that was 2022. Spent a lot of time just like not thinking about it. And then, you know, 2023 we really were like, okay, let's like figure this out. And I think we recorded in June or something. No, yeah, June, maybe May, because our second episode with Ash was recorded in July on my
Oh
birthday.
yeah, you're
So
right. Okay, so
we
we did
had,
start
yeah,
earlier.
yeah, so like we had this, you know, it was definitely a, and even to think back to when you told me I could put, because you said something about being professionally hot and you were like, put that on a t-shirt, like you can have it. And I was like, or we could start a podcast. And like at first it was kind of a joke, but
It
then I
was a
was
joke.
like, no, like actually we should start a podcast. And
Yeah.
like it took a while for both of us to be in the right place for it. And there was a lot of like, not, I wouldn't say convincing on my end, but just like, Ashley T, this could be really good
No,
for
no,
us. And
absolutely. I'll give you
yeah,
that for sure. Like if it wasn't for you, really like you weren't on my ass, but you were so sure and so right in like your knowledge that this would be something that would be really fun for us and really good
hmm
for us. Like you were like, no, girl, like this time I'm dragging you toward wellness. Like,
yeah. Well,
and you
uh,
did.
and one of the biggest things I think was the fact that we spent so much time away from each other during COVID that I was like, God forbid anything happens again where we cannot get to each other.
Yeah.
Like at least we have the podcast. Like we have something that like continues, and not that like I think our relationship would ever just like like, you know, flutter out or whatever, but it
No,
was
never.
like this will keep us like we're becoming business partners over it, and that's like so
Yeah.
fucking cool. Like we have a next level of being like friends, and
Yeah.
that's just, yeah,
Well,
so it
and I
was
mean,
for
like,
us, but
yeah, it was just like our FaceTime conversations were so fire
yeah,
that we just could not contain. We're like, no, the world needs to hear this, and now people are listening, and that's
I know.
definitely something that that's something I feel really fucking good about the time
Hmm.
that's passed in
Yeah, me
2023.
too. Yeah, so thanks guys for listening. We really really
Yeah,
do appreciate it. It's not a shock anymore that people are listening. It's more just like, wow, like
so cool.
it worked out, you
Yeah.
know.
I'm still
And
shocked.
that,
Not
yeah,
gonna
I
lie.
mean, yeah, well that's totally fair. I feel the same way.
Let's talk about a big thing that happened for you this year because 2023 marked the end of something massive for you, girl.
Yeah, I stopped my camming career, and I think one of our other questions goes into like fears of stuff, so I'll save that for that. But just like not being on MFC after 10 years, like I quit on my 10 years exactly. So like
Yeah,
just a full decade of like doing something that I thought would be very, very successful,
yeah,
and leaving at the time that I did was the best thing I could have done for my mental health. But like I said, I'll have more to discuss on that. But it's been a very good thing. Like it was a huge weight off my shoulders, and I do miss it occasionally. But it was the best choice I could have made this year for myself.
yeah. For exactly, and
Yeah,
it wasn't an easy decision. It was a fucking. You made the decision, and then as it got closer, I think totally reasonably, it was like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit,
yeah.
oh shit. But
Well,
then,
even months later now, I'm still like, oh fuck, was that the right decision?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
But you know, like I already did it.
yeah.
And I'm
Yep.
not the kind of person that will go back and be like, well, like, you know, I said I was quitting. I can't do that. Like
Yeah.
it works for some people, and I think that's amazing. I just know that I would be right back into the same spot that I already was. So
Yeah.
like
Exactly.
coming back is not an option for me. But it there was a lot of different emotions that went into it, with like appreciating it and also being very scared and
Yeah.
all the things. But like there are no regrets behind it. Like the 10 years were perfect, and I would not be talking to you right now if not for it. So
Exactly.
worth it in my book.
And I will say, like, we're both of us are going to be pretty real on this podcast. We're going to keep it sex work focused, but like, y'all also want to hear a little bit about our lives and stuff because we're cool and interesting. And,
Hmm.
three cheers for the parasocial homies. Love y'all. But how do I feel about the time that's
Hmm.
passed? since the last year. In a lot of ways, I feel extremely stuck.
Mm,
Because my goal, one of my like my biggest goal for 2023 was to primarily shift over to Twitch and
yeah.
to make safe for work live streaming, my main form of income, and to be able to take like a break from the kind of breakneck speeds that I produce sex work content with.
Yeah.
I think I've seen so many other OGs start to roll through onto safe for work platforms as well. So I think that sentiment is not like I'm not alone in that.
No.
Obviously, you literally retired from cam, but just due to sort of my own like financial situation and just like other things, like you know the time that has passed since the last year, and in a lot of ways, I'm yeah I'm a little stuck.
Yeah.
And it's a weird thing. I'm not disappointed, it's not like I set a goal and I didn't like bother to achieve it. It's just this year kept me in a place that I didn't think I'd be
Hmm.
in December. Um and that's a pretty wild thing.
Yeah. No, it is. And
It is.
it's easier said than done to be like, I want to transition to a brand new place, even if you have experience with it and stuff, and actually doing it. Like
Yeah.
it it is very difficult. And you've already done such a good job at it,
Yeah.
but like you're pushing for that is not over. Like I feel
No.
like, this next year, like after doing it for a full year, I mean, think about how long it took for us to like be known
Yeah.
throughout like camming and stuff. And I think that like that's just what you needed that year to show that you're dedicated to it.
Yeah.
And now you have a good amount of people that are in your room, and you may not be making what you want to make for that, but that's like, I think it's very much in your foreseeable future
Yeah, yeah,
opinion.
it is. And I think like it's important to remember, for both of us, especially for all the OGs that are listening,
Hmm.
this the economic climate of this year, like this is when this kind of economic climate is when people enter into sex work,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah. So true.
we're in a recession. It's very hard, for people to afford life and stuff. And so for those of you that are maybe still hustling but feeling like a little stuck, it is what it is,
It
baby.
is what it is. Yeah, true
That's
that.
Yeah, it's been a year, and I'm holy shit, I'm glad it's about to be over. Um, Ken's, what did you learn this year? What's something that you learned this year?
I learned very recently to let go.
Mm,
My roommate situation was very shitty, and I would love for my because old Kenzie knew how to hold grudges. Like I still am very much on the side of like with like breakups and stuff to be like, oh no, like so sorry you died. Like that's my mindset around those things, and not like, oh, they fucked me over. I'm just like, that's crazy that like they're just not here anymore.
yeah.
Because it's easier for me to hold my grudge that way. But with everything that recently happened, I was just saying to you that like I can't afford to like
Mhm.
be mad. Like it
Yeah.
really does not do it used to suit me very well. Like
Mhm.
where like I was, fuck you, I don't need anyone kind of mentality. And now I'm just like, well, that like really one didn't reflect me. And I know my person well enough now to not have to doubt those things. There's like always a little bit of like, secondhand doubt that will come in.
Mhm.
Just to, and I think that's a good thing to make sure that like you actually didn't do anything that was purposefully wrong.
Mhm. Yeah.
um
Yeah.
but like as far as this year, or at least the past few months and stuff, has like really brought me to a place of being like, okay, it's time to let it go. Like that does not matter at all in the long run. And if the other friendships that I've had that didn't work out, I don't feel anything about now,
Yeah.
then like this is extra like going to be an even faster time of me letting it go and being like, yeah, that shit happened, that was wild, and I can laugh about it the same way I do with other things.
Yeah.
So just being more forgiving with other people, because I'm very forgiving with myself for the
Yeah.
most part. Like I
Yeah.
don't really struggle.
You know what? I really admire that about you in a big way.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel like
Right.
sometimes maybe too forgiving with
No, no,
myself.
honestly, I don't think so. Like again, I actually, that's a quality that you have that I personally find very admirable.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. It's not I don't think it's an easy thing to figure out, but I think it is like one of the truest forms of like self-love is being
Yeah.
like, I am just a little human and I am still I still have a baby brain. Like
Yeah.
I've barely learned anything in the past 30 years. And like that's so good. Like that's
Yeah.
such a good thing to me because I'm like there's so much more. Like imagine if I always say to like my brother that like if he's so far ahead of the game now with like being a good man and being emotionally mature and all those things that come with it. I'm like, imagine when you're 50, like
Yeah.
you're going to be so great.
Yeah.
So yeah, so this the forgiving side, the letting things go that I really can't control, law of least effort is all in that wrapped up in that for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, what about for you?
Learn this year. Well, I I think I'm learning. And I mean, I like, just to like finish off what you had just said. One of
Mm-hmm.
my quotes is "Only an idiot knows everything."
Mm-hmm.
Because just as you said, we are always learning, and if
Yeah.
you've got it all figured out, then you're not open to like learning more stuff. And I think like this is even more you than me. I'm gonna flatter you again. I don't know. I feel like in your ego here because it's valid. We learned technical stuff. We learned like actual, knowledge stuff about different apps to record podcast on, how to
Mm-hmm.
upload podcasts, how to share. Like this was something we've never done before. Like,
Yeah.
and we are press go flash babies,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like,
Yeah.
hit broadcast with no support babies, right? Like we're constantly learning how to improve, and grow on the podcast. And we have learned the foundations to start season 2, which we'll talk about.
Yeah, no, that's so true though. And I think that both of us, before we listened to our last episode on Saturday, because I always listen to it even after I've edited it and stuff,
Yeah.
I think we both need to listen to our first episode first and then our
Yeah.
second one, because that is like, that will make us be like, oh my gosh, we've actually come so far in 11 episodes. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. On a personal level, I will say my mother has cancer and it is now stage 4.
Hmm.
And we found this out in June. So I'm very much like a bullet journal morning routine. I crave consistency, and I also very much suffer from all or nothing or black and white thinking.
Yeah.
And so when I have a routine, when I can rely on consistency, at least for 5 days out of the week, I've always told myself that that's the only time that I'm able to actually like do things.
Hmm.
Um, but if you've ever cared for anyone going through, sort of the vicious parts of cancer, you'll know that suddenly life is on hold.
Hmm.
And you can write as many bullet journal calendars and use the nice highlighters. You can write all those out as much as you want. But, the day that you plan to make content suddenly is a day that you're back in the hospital.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and you're midway through a stream and suddenly you're back in the hospital. Right.
Yeah.
I've learned that sometimes there's no way to maintain control. And I'm still going.
Yeah.
Right. Like I think I've learned that I'm actually a lot more capable than I would give myself credit for.
Oh, for sure.
And that like even when things are fucking bonkers, like
Hmm.
nightmare style bonkers, like I can still create a routine. I can still create structure within an hour, right?
Yeah.
I can look at an hour and say, okay, well, I have this hour. I'm pretty sure that I can keep the hour. So what am I doing this hour?
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I'm
Yeah,
still,
you're learning a different schedule than you are used to now.
yeah. And I've learned a lot about cancer, but we're not going to get into that.
Yeah, we've all done our research this year.
Yeah. Holy crap.
Yeah. Yeah, well,
Um,
then those are good ones. I mean,
yeah.
when you're thrown into a pot of boiling stew and you have no idea how to get out of like any of these kind of heavy situations. With my roommate stuff, it's a very different like this sucks moment with
Yeah.
cancer, anyone getting sick in your family, having to stop all of your normal things to make sure that, you know, like they're being taken care of as best as you can,
Yeah.
because you can't do everything.
Yeah.
That is, there's no way to navigate any of that stuff.
Nope.
Like there are tons of books on grief and all these things, and like you could self-help your way through 1,000 books, but like when it comes down to it, everyone is going to have different experiences with it. And
Oh
even
yeah.
you tweeting like, you know, how can I do this? It's like, yes, that stuff is great information to hear. It's nice to know that you're not alone, but in the reality of it, none of it's gonna fucking help because you won't know until you're on that day
Oh
and
yeah.
dealing with those things. And that's just so fucking unfair because you're like,
Yeah.
but I just got this routine down.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh
what
yeah.
do you mean? You
And,
know?
yeah, and sex workers, and I think anybody that is self-employed, but sex workers specifically,
Hmm.
we have an understanding that like if we nose to the grindstone, let's say for like 2 3 weeks,
Yeah.
uh, you know, we can usually recoup losses. The one of the best parts about this industry is that you can make money faster
Yeah.
than other industries, right? Like why the
Yeah.
f- would you go into sex work? Sorry, there's lots of other reasons, but
Yeah.
uh,
No, that's true though.
you know, when something like this happens, right? Like we, you know, went on all of the trips that I've been on,
Hmm.
you know, were planned and paid for before she got sick, right?
Right.
And you know, we chose to go on them anyway. But you get this, you know, ingrained sex worker mentality of, okay, I'm gonna go do this, and then when I come back, I'm gonna grind it like crazy. And you know, yeah, I'm in the hole a little bit financially, but I have a 2 week stretch that like
Yeah.
come home and I'm gonna work, 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 work. And when that gets interrupted, when you're not able to do that, that's when things start to, you're like, oh shit, I can't actually rely on that right now because real world, real life nightmare stuff
Hmm.
keeps happening.
Yeah.
And so learning to kind of navigate that, I can't even really put into words what that learning process is, but
No,
there's,
I don't think that you could. I don't think anyone could understand it,
yeah,
even
there,
if they're going through the exact same thing, because their reality is going to be so much different than yours. Like,
yeah.
it's like one thing to be like, I understand that you're going through something awful, but like I will never understand what you're going through. It's a completely different
I
experience.
hope not. Knock on
No, and but
now.
that's the thing is like you can't put it into words. It is a take it day by day thing, and that's literally all you can do. Like
Yeah.
you find an hour to carve out for yourself, amazing. Like is it the schedule that you dreamed of? Fuck no, absolutely not.
But again,
And that
thank God for this industry, right? Because
mm-hmm.
during these times, like if I was doing anything else, I wouldn't have been able to provide the way that I provide. So
No. Yeah.
anybody that supported me this year because it's been a time.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
for real.
Which you know what leads us into the next question, I think quite appropriately.
Mm.
Um, but the next question is just what did you lose and what are you grieving? And on that note, I could definitely be personal, but it's also a great question to ask sex work focused. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
I'd love to say pass the mic to you, but we're using our phones.
Pass the phone to me. I got
Yeah, yeah.
this. Well, I think mine goes into camming. I think like it was built the months building up to me knowing that I was going to quit. Hold on, let me go back for a second. In 2022, I went to a tarot reader and I was feeling very lost. My mom and I were walking around downtown Sedona and I was just saying that like I just feel like this is I'm not going to have the success that I want with camming that I thought I was going to have. Like it's becoming very clear to me that that's just not going to fucking be it. And I would, you know, I wasn't ready to quit then, but then fast forward to, you know, I would say like May or April, I was like, okay, September is going to be the last month that I can. I was like, and then
I remember that day. Like you and I we were
mhm.
talking about it. I remember that day that you set the date.
Yeah. And I
That
had
was a
said to
big day.
myself, yeah, it was. And I had said to myself when I first started camming that I didn't want to be camming past 30. I was like,
Yeah.
and that was under the mindset that I would have like a husband and a
Yeah,
family and stuff.
yeah,
So like
yeah.
those reasons filtered out, but my main goal of being like, no, I don't want to. And it wasn't sex work, it was just being on MFC. I
It
was
was
like,
specifically adult live streaming
yeah,
on
yeah.
MSC. Yeah.
And I was like, that's just, it doesn't sound right anymore. Like I don't want to have the conversation of I'm a cam model. It was everything. There was too many there's too many cons and not enough pros to keep going. And so I had that moment. We talked, and I was like, I'm setting my time limit, and I don't want to go back to it. And even as it rolled around, got closer and closer, I was like, holy fucking, me and you had another conversation where I was like, I'm afraid to push myself, because I don't want to like I don't want to leave and feel like I should have stayed.
I mean, we could talk some we could fucking spill some tea. We could be shady here because you very much could have had a retiring from cam
Mm-hmm.
party only to return like 2 months later. How many
Yeah.
people? How many people?
So many.
Yeah, it's like having 3 birthdays in a year.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Angle.
Yeah.
It wasn't a big angle for you. You were actually
I was losing it. It wasn't the game plan anymore. And my biggest fucking turning point was on my 30th birthday. I didn't get one tip on MFC. And not to say that people didn't spoil me in other ways, but I was like, holy fuck, on the day of my birth, not one token.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that's my answer. I don't need any more clarification on what I'm doing. So September rolled around, and my thoughts during that entire month was like, fuck, but what about Halloween? Like, I already was trying to extend this fake time that I set for myself. And I talked to my therapist about it, and I was like, am I putting too much pressure on myself to quit? In this economy, can I fucking quit? Because it may not have been a lump sum of money coming in, but it still was extra money coming in. So I had that birthday day, and then I was doubting myself up into the months coming up, and I had my last little cam party, which was great. And the day that I stopped, I thought I would have, like, my dad was like asking me if I could do something next weekend, and I immediately was like, oh no, I have to cam. And then I was like, oh my God, I don't have to cam. Like, it was a huge weight lifted off. And in the months following, I've had back and forth of like, you know, I miss camming. We've talked about that community sense, and that it's just different than OnlyFans. And you know, we both miss that community based side of things, and so that's been hard to, you know, like even with Twitch, it's just not the same in different ways, in better ways, and in not the like not bad or good ways. But yeah, it's been a weird thing to grieve because it's a huge part of my 10 years of my life, and I thought that I would have to like leave her behind to not her behind, but just her on my beach, that all my people come up and see me for my meditation thing.
Right.
She's in there somewhere, but she's not me anymore. And I felt that grief over losing a part of me and a thing that I thought would work out in a different way. And I had a conversation with my therapist too about the fact that she was like, you're leaving because you want to, and if you were making $10,000 a month, would you still be staying? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. And she's like, would you still be miserable? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. So at that point, it didn't matter about whether or not the money would have been great, but it just wasn't it anymore. And I'm glad that I left, and I miss it, and I miss the boys and the girls. But
you know what, I just have to say, like, the weirdest thing about quitting MFC is that, like, I will forever, and I still miss, even though I'm on Twitch, it's just different. I miss the vibe, but no part of me misses standing up to spank myself for money. Right? Like, did you to a point where being the tip monkey, which is what really, unless you're like top tier, you know, what it is it's that transaction in real time that, like, I still don't miss it.
No, I completely agree.
Like, I miss the community. I miss, like, we love them boys, dude. We love the boys. The boys know who they are, and like, we love them, and I miss spending time with them in that space. Miss the work.
No, it was a completely different category of live streaming, and it was a lot more than just like getting onto Instagram live and being on there. Like, there's so much more to it. So I completely agree. It's I don't miss that at all either.
Not it.
I do miss my foot spanks though.
Yo, that was actually fuck you. That was exactly what I was thinking.
I wish that I had a place I could just do foot spanks for money, and I just feel like I know I could do it on Twitch, but then I have to like get on my bed, and it's just a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
And for people that don't know, foot spanks is just literally when I slap my ass with my foot.
Like, laying on her stomach, she can just spank herself. but I'm like, what? Talk about innovation, dude.
It's one of my many talents,
Yeah,
and I will keep it up. I'll be like 80 years old, being like, "Who wants to see me spank my ass with my foot?"
dude, it's on your resume.
It is. It is. Okay, your turn.
All right.
What
Um,
have you?
obviously, like, what did I lose? What am I grieving? The normalcy of my entire life and
Mm-hmm.
longevity of my mother's life, but we're not getting into that. Um, I think this year for sex work, from myself at least, a very large degree of ease is
Mm-hmm.
gone, right? We had 2020, we had 2021, and when OnlyFans was being recognized, publicly, when it became part of like, popular culture, popular understanding, that first wave was easy.
Yeah.
And now, we are, everyone around the world more or less is dealing with inflation to some degree. The economy is unstable, and entertainment is one of the first things to take a hit, right? Like,
Yeah.
you're looking at your budget and you're like, okay, we got rent, we got bills, we got groceries. The bill for entertainment, even if it's something you really want, it gets smaller.
Yeah. No, it's
Um,
very, very true.
and so, this is one of those times where if you want to stay in the industry, sometimes you need to work 3 times as hard for, 3/4 of what you used to make, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I am grieving that sense of ease, because I could definitely use it now, all things going on and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and then I really am grieving the increased amount of censorship that has come along with like sex work being more. It's weird. It's like more than ever people are talking about our jobs in real life.
Mm-hmm.
More than ever we are censored online.
Yeah. No, it's so true. It's like just because it's taboo and people all know about it doesn't mean that you're gonna be seen for it or acknowledged for it.
Yeah, exactly. There used to be a time when, all you really like, you could just post like whatever you wanted on Twitter, and like I think the cam space was small and niche enough that it actually
Mm-hmm.
reach. But apps and stuff continually shoving us into corners is something that is worth grieving, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was a Wild Wild West era on the internet, for better or for worse, but at least it wasn't so heavily censored, and that's something that I don't think we'll ever get back.
No, I agree. I think from being shadow banned to just like losing accounts. I mean, how many TikTok accounts have I fucking lost? And
Mm,
it's just like continuous. And I know that tons of other creators, especially like women of color and
mm,
trans women and like
mm,
people that the internet are seeing as like
mm,
taboo now. It's like
mm.
the sex workers still like, yeah, people are like, yeah, whatever, do your little sex work stuff, but then there's no like space for us on the internet to show that we do sex work
Yeah,
like at all. It's awful. Like it doesn't even matter for Twitter. I mean, I had my Twitter account deleted for putting my butt in my header when there's like live porn just like going
yeah, yeah,
on Twitter. And it's like, what do you mean? Like, and like, same with Instagram. You have enough followers on there. You can show your nipples through like a shirt or
yeah,
something. But like, God forbid you have under 100K, no bikini pics for you. You're a fucking slut.
yeah,
Like, so
yeah.
yeah, I understand the
That
grieving. It really sucks.
sucks. That part. It's not even just grieving it for me, but I also, I feel bad for newcomers and people that are trying to get started and just like getting repeatedly bodied by the increase in censorship. Ashley T, the increase in censorship over social media.
Yeah, well, and you were saying earlier too, and this is not a bad thing about newcomers, but the people that have been in the industry for like 2 or 3 years and they've skyrocketed into internet, like just not, I
Yeah,
wouldn't say fame,
it's
but
gone viral after viral after viral.
yeah, and it's like, okay, so now you have 7,000 subscribers on OnlyFans. Like, what the fuck do you mean? And we've been in the
Yeah,
industry for 10 years,
I
and
know.
like, I
Yeah,
have 70,000 plus on my Instagram. Like,
yeah, I
and
know.
it's not easy to gain followers, and I've lost so, I mean, we've both, seen the numbers go
Yeah,
mostly down and then randomly up if we find something that works for us. But
yeah,
then the minute that starts working for us, it's out the window. Like
Yeah.
it no longer works, and you have to fucking, we're adapting much faster than we used to have to. Like there was always still an adaptation area and time for us to be like, okay, time to figure out something new and
But it
reinvent yourself.
speeds now, you know.
But now it's like, okay, well, I can't do that every other week. And unfortunately the internet is for Gen Zers now. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
there, it's not for us.
Well,
Like,
you know, I think like the bigger discussion of like aging out in the industry, that's a whole topic. But
yeah.
in some ways, you know, girl, I can't fucking do a TikTok dance to save my.
No,
I,
I did a couple and I felt stupid.
I don't
Like,
have the neural pathways. I can't be that. I can't coordinate myself.
no.
Or
And I don't know. I just,
pop it
there's,
like, damn, y'all learn shit fast. This dance came out yesterday.
yeah. And
You know?
that's what I mean with it being for Gen Zers. Like, any of the trends that we're hopping on to try and boost our own shit, it's just not going to get the same traction that, like, the little fucking teeny boppers are
No,
basically
I
doing.
call them the OnlyFans babies, even though they are definitely like very much adult women that are doing a great job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like I can't even do the fucking Macarena, dude. Okay? Like they've got that shit on lock.
Yeah, no, it's
But
true. And it just, sorry, we're gonna say.
we're gonna end up talking about this actually a little bit more in depth as we go through the questions. So I feel like we'll put a pin
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
in
Ask the next one.
because we have a positive question. Like we have something real good to think about
Yeah.
for a sec. Like Ken's, what did you gain this year? Like what did you gain over 2023?
I I gained more love for myself.
Oh,
I think like being able to actually, I think like turning 30, Saturn return, are all those things for me this year. So I think it's been like a big year of like actual self-love and giving myself space when I did need it to be pathetic and like let myself have a victim day and stuff. But then at the same time, not being so gentle with myself because I've been gentle with myself my entire life. Like
mm-hmm.
to the point where like I didn't push myself,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm I'm excited for this next year, and I feel like I'm sounding very cliche with my like I have all these things that I want to do and I want to change my entire self to, and not like in a way, but I mean like next highest form kind of thing. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm tired of getting upset with myself. I'm tired of waking up with anxiety that is controllable, not all of the
Mm-hmm.
anxiety, but like needing medication, like all the things that like will push me into a better place. I'm tired of fighting myself on that, and that
Mm-hmm.
goes into like the same stuff with like letting go and just like kind of trusting. Like I think I actually for once I'm not just saying it and I'm actually
Mm-hmm.
doing it.
You're walking the walk.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest things that I'm bringing into my practice for the next year is sticking to my own word. Like
Mm.
I don't think I fully trust myself. Like,
Mm.
and it can be as small as like not being to a certain place on time.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
fair
I
enough.
think also that has a lot to do with ADHD. So
Yeah, yeah.
I give myself that space to be like, okay, not all of this is something that you can like just change overnight, but there are certain things that's like holding yourself accountable. Like
Mm.
I don't know if I'm fully doing that with myself, and
Mm.
I do it with everyone else. So I'm like, why am I not giving myself that love? So that is my like, the things that I have brought in that I am very proud of myself for in different
Mhm.
ways.
Mhm.
And then even just on top of that, my fucking anger issues. Like
Yeah.
there's just so much less,
Yeah,
and it's been a
you've gained a lot of self-control this year, I think.
yeah, and like it's so nice to have that where I'm like, damn, I didn't fucking yell at that person. Like
Mhm.
so like and that's brought me closer to myself, and also one of the my last thing for this is it's less sex work centered because those things all revolve around work. When I'm saying that I need to push myself and be
Yeah.
more accountable with myself, it's like, okay, well, actually get up, like
Yeah.
don't be in bed all day. But one of the things that I've brought into my life is being more feminine. Like,
Hmm.
and I think that's just like even from buying like cute little silky PJs, you know,
Oh, I
where
love
like
that.
it was like stop wearing a t-shirt to bed and like brush your hair before you go to bed and like get pretty bedding and
Yeah,
light
you're
a
doing like the girly
candle.
pop thing.
Yeah, exactly. And I've always been so hard and like I've been in my masculine. Like that's just the
Yeah.
best way to describe it. And I was like, why am I like holding myself back from like being a cute girl?
Yeah,
Like
like whatever that means to you,
yeah,
right?
exactly. Like just like
Yeah.
being in my feminine and like divine feminine where I'm like just doing small things, but I'm like, no, get up and shower because like you have a routine and it makes you feel
Hmm.
good and like that is girly pop. Like it's for the
Yeah.
girls. Use
No,
the
I love.
things for the girls and do it.
Yeah. Also, like, I think a good girly pop era is just like, even if it only lasts like a couple weeks, it's just like
Hmm.
fucking healing. Like,
Yeah.
just it's nice to do like the like little pretty silky PJ shit for like a minute because
Hmm.
it's like not a huge thing, but then it makes you feel all like fucking cute and stuff. You're like, oh yeah, I have my silky
Hmm.
PJs on. Like that's nice.
Well, and I think it also helps with like feeling not 14 anymore. Like I think
Mm,
that like I think a lot of people struggle with not feeling their age. Like I look at other 30-plus-year-olds
mm-hmm,
sometimes and I'm like, how are they so adult? Like what do you mean you
mm,
wear heels all day and stuff? And
mm-hmm.
like, you know, that hot lady that we saw walking in the street, she's probably not much older than us. And
Yeah,
she looks like it's not that she looks older than 30, but I don't feel like I look like that. Like
yeah, exactly.
it really is like a huge block and I'm sure other people see other people and think the same things. I don't think it's I'm sure it's a
I think it's
human
human. Yeah,
experience, you know,
yeah.
but like to like you know making a actual wardrobe full of like you know capsule items and stuff that like I'm actually going to use and not just buying things because they look cute at the time, like that kind of stuff where I'm like trying to make myself feel like the adult that I want to
Want to
be
be.
and not be a 14-year-old boy who wears a t-shirt. Like I love the Adam Sandler outfits, but like
But not all the
I
time.
don't see that as self-care for myself anymore.
Yeah,
Like it's like I can be comfy in things that like still make me feel confident. And
yeah,
that is something that I've definitely brought
yeah,
into this year. So I appreciate those things.
yeah.
What about you, Miss Ashley T?
Um, damn, I have what have I gained this year? A wild amount of strength in a
Hmm.
very short amount of time.
Yeah, it's so
Um,
true.
I thought that I like we've talked about my like university student era, and how I had my job and my other job and my outfits for school and my school and I think that was probably the last time that I have felt like a very strong, capable person.
Hmm.
Um, I am way stronger than I thought I was.
Yeah. Well, I think you were
Um,
dressing for that part, you know, and you looked amazing all the time and you were this like like I would say school girl, but you know what I mean? That's like
no,
an
no, no, yeah,
adult version.
yeah,
And you know, that was something that like made you feel very forward motion and ambitious and stuff. And now you don't need an outfit to like prove that you're strong, if that makes
no,
sense. Like
yeah,
obviously you looked great and you were really strong then and you fucking did what you had to do, but like this is a very different type of strong that
yeah,
will like keep you safe for the rest of your life kind of
yeah.
thing.
And when shit hits the fan, and I mean literally in
Hmm.
many aspects, um, you know, it's like I if you had asked me a year ago if I would still be standing at
Hmm.
the end of these 7 months, right? Like, because this is not cancer is not what you see on TV,
No.
and everybody's experiences kind of are different, and this has been a nightmare one.
Hmm.
And I would not have thought that I had the amount of strength to continue to even just like stay standing,
Yeah.
or stay braced and ready for the next thing. And I actually I don't know if that was, some inner strength that had like always been there. Like, I don't know if that's the case. I actually think I've gained that strength this year. Like,
Yeah, no, I don't, I mean, and not in a offensive way, but I don't think
no,
it's always been there for anyone. I think
no.
that's all about adapting and evolving. Like
Yeah. And fast and hard.
yeah, and the things that if this had happened a few years ago, you might not have been that
No,
strong
no.
as you are now. So yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's definitely like you've gained a whole new sense of like strength for yourself,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's
Because now,
insane.
it's undoubt like I don't doubt that at all anymore. Like
Yeah.
even when I'm like fucking and justifiably like down on my face for a minute,
Mm-hmm.
like I don't doubt for 1 second that I am a tank.
Yeah.
And to continue to create sex work through all
Mm-hmm.
of this, which is very jarring,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's very odd to go from, caring for someone with, recent surgeries, like, trigger warning, lots of gore, lots of bodily
Mm-hmm.
fluids, going from that mode and then having to like walk through the door, shut off, put on the lingerie and play
Mm-hmm.
something that is so far away from who I am, as much as like my core, as the boys, right?
Yeah.
The boys, as much as they would continue to like, offer support or whatever they can. The reality is that as a sex worker, you have to find a way to even make chaos or grief look hot enough to be noticed.
Welcome to the Professionally Hot podcast.
Yeah.
That sums it up right fucking there.
Yeah. Sometimes that is what it means to be professionally hot, to try to leave the real world outside of the studio door
Yeah.
and turn them lights on, and do it. Like it doesn't matter if you're in the mood or not.
No.
If this is how you make money, you got to be professional about it.
Yeah.
And that's, again, that's something that I didn't think that, like, that's a strength I've gained this year.
Mm-hmm.
That is like wild. Um and I've made some new friends this year.
I know you really have, and that's just so cute. Like that's
Yeah.
just so nice.
Yeah, it's like it's been, and we are going to circle around to this kind of in the next point, but I've made some friends with the fucking next gen, with the newbies, with the OnlyFans creators that they may not have been sex workers before the boom in
Mm-hmm.
2020, right? Like they just started, and I've made friends with some of these little fucking whippersnappers. They're like 23, 24,
Yeah.
and we chit chat in messages, in Instagram DMs and stuff, and it's so like it's so wholesome. I've made some like little wholesome new internet friends, which
Well,
is really
you've found a community in different ways than you had
yeah. And on
before.
Twitch too, I cannot for 1 minute forget to mention like my entire Twitch community.
I
Those are all
know.
new friends.
Yeah, no, it's so nice. And I feel like you found a few new friends in real life too with your like tattoo artist and like even just
Yeah.
doing Dungeons of Dragons and
Dungeons
stuff.
and
Like
Dragons, baby.
you definitely like outside of your because when you were in school you had like a few friends and stuff, but like they would have never understood who you were.
No.
And like I think going back to like being the mother of the cam community because you
Yeah.
have really taken on that role in so many different
Mhm.
ways without like aging yourself, you know what I mean? Like
Somehow, yeah. I don't
yeah, and
know.
it's so like refreshing and like you're never condescending about it. Like you're always
No.
just like there as like a person that has actually experienced it and like
Yeah.
willing to give really profound and amazing information for fucking free. Like
Yeah.
not like even just your
Yeah.
post that you made on Twitter the other day about, like wanting more silliness on OnlyFans and those kind
Yeah.
of things. Like you're giving you, I mean, fuck it, put it in my mind. Like I can't imagine how many other younger women and men that are on, that are doing these things and getting into it will see that and be like, oh, I should try and do that. Because if
Well, here's the
Ashley
thing,
T's
dude.
doing it,
Like talking about new friends, I have made a homie. Shout out to Shay Kitty. She's like, I think
yeah,
it's
she's so
Shay
cute.
Cosplay, Shay Kitty Cosplay.
She always posts us too.
Yeah, she is a big listener of the podcast. Also, she's just like cute as fuck. I'm actually finding her thing 1 second. I think it's Shay.cosplay.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm just gonna confirm. We can like cut this out. Yeah, like Instagram.com/slash Shay SHAE.cosplay. So like she's on Twitch. She's a, like I said, OnlyFans baby, doing the thing. And I raided her on Twitch the other day, and she like stopped everything to tell everyone that was in her space that she feels that I am the reason why she is now a content creator.
Oh.
That like she saw me doing what I do, and
Hmm.
she wanted that for herself, and she was, wanting that kind of life for a while, but like was too nervous to get started. And so she said to everyone, she's like, I saw what Ashley T was doing, and I said, you know what, I am going to try. Like I
Oh.
want to try to do it, and now I have all these things.
And she, I mean, she's she's like, people go so far as to say like I wouldn't be who I am today if it was. The inspiration is great, and I'm super glad to inspire people, but it's always the people themselves that haul ass to like do whatever. But it's been cool making friends a generation younger than me
Mm-hmm.
that like I have been like I've made, they already know who I am,
Yeah.
and then I get to like be friends with them and like that. I don't know, it's just really cool for me. That's
No,
really
it
cool for
really
me. It
is.
makes me feel special and interesting and cool.
Well, and they obviously, I mean, those things are obviously true too, or else you wouldn't have
Yeah, I
people
mean, for
that
sure.
find, and like you are giving inspiration, but it also is like the people that are going to take it and implement it into their work routines and their lives and everything, like they make it worth it for you to continue doing that because you're like,
Yeah,
there's the fucking
absolutely, they keep
pudding in the
inspiring me.
proof, like
Yeah,
proof in the pudding.
proof in the pudding.
No,
The
the
proof is in the
pudding,
pudding.
the pudding is in the proof today.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it is amazing and it's really sweet and like,
No, it's sick as fuck. It makes me feel it. What have I gained? Confidence from that for sure.
yeah,
More strength. It's just lots of things have strengthened me.
yeah, I love that. It's really nice.
Kenneth, what aspect of yourself would you like to let go of?
Um,
Let's talk some shit.
yeah. Well, for me, I have horrible ADHD and I have no motivation in life. Literally, the only thing that I want to do with my life is have babies and have a farm and a rich husband. And unfortunately, that is my goal list. Like,
Yeah.
that's about it. I don't really have much on there. And that's how I've always been. And I've always really admired when people have like actual goals in their lives that revolve around employment and school and those things because I just have never had it. And I don't know if
Yeah.
that's because I haven't been on the right ADHD medication. I could go on the right shit and also I'm like, I'm gonna be a lawyer.
Yeah. Can you imagine?
Well, that's what I got. That's what I got voted for in 8th grade, most likely to be a lawyer.
You could be a lawyer.
I could do it. I'm really good
if
at
you
arguing.
really wanted to. Yeah.
But that's the thing is like I don't have the if I really wanted to in anywhere in my body. And because the things that I want are not my 3D reality, I have to keep doing the things that I'm doing in my 3D reality.
Yeah.
Which aren't my favorite things. Like I struggle a lot with my job and I struggle a lot with my other jobs and I, struggle getting out of bed and being motivated to even make money nowadays. Like it's like, there's a reason that I am not doing well on OnlyFans. I don't have the motivation to fucking do it. And like, I still pay my bills, which is great. But there's just other things that I'm like, if I stopped being scared of the financial and the mental parts that go into getting on the right medication, which is trial and error, spending money to find out those things, having some things not work and being disappointed, and then the grief over why didn't I do this soon enough when it does work. So many great little things that are mixed into it. And also I was addicted to drugs. I am afraid of having to go get new drugs to actually help myself. So, and when sure, they're all fair things. I give myself the space to have that validation because it's very fucking real. It's not like, well, I don't want to do it because I just don't want to do it. I want to do it, but that external push has been going with me and my therapist for like a year and a half now, and I'm still not there. But that is my like beginning of this year goal is to be like, get the fucking medication, like stop being a bitch about this. And that is my tough love with myself that I'm trying to implement. And so with that is letting go of the like laziness. And I've always hated the laziness kind of mindset because my dad always said growing up, like, you're being lazy, or he said, I'm being lazy today. And I'm like, no, you have ADHD. Like it's very different than just like lazy. You could want to do all those things and there's just no way you're going to be able to get out of bed. Like it's just, and it's depression and all these things. So, just mental health in general.
It's mental illness.
Yeah, exactly. In it. So that is that's my big one for this year is really just being like, okay, no more like downtime on this. I'm tired of my own bullshit kind of thing. And those are always been great moments for me where I'm like, nope, time to get my shit together. But it's always been temporary and like I need some real like exactly. And that's scary because it also leaves behind this version of myself or puts her on the fucking beach again. I'm not ready for that. Like I'm just not. But it like at this point it doesn't matter because my like future self is ready for me to change this way. Like I know that deep in my core. So That is my main one, and I'm sure there are other little ones that follow along in that same category, but like really just being like, are you actually being lazy? Like,
Mm-hmm.
is this mental health issues, or are you just fucking, self-sabotaging? Like,
Mm-hmm.
because I can. And I'm like, well,
Mm-hmm.
I always figure it out, so why wouldn't I this time? I'm tired of fucking figuring it out.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
exhausted from it,
Yeah.
so that's my spiel. That's what I'm doing. And hopefully next year at this time, when we're recording our last episode of the year, I'll be like, I fucking did that
I
shit,
did it.
bitch. Mm-hmm.
Well, and I'm gonna leave you like on that sentence, like on that note, like a quote that has helped me through some nightmare times.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one that I just carry with me, and it's do it scared.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like for any like what you just said is so relatable for a lot of people,
Yeah.
especially if you know that you've been dealing with a mental health issue, you've been doing your best for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
and for whatever reason, whether it's like past addictions or stigma surrounding meds or the fear of, grieving, like why didn't I do this earlier? Like do it scared.
Yeah, no, it's so true. And you also just said a very important thing that, you're doing your best. I'm not. Like,
Mm.
and that is very clear to me that my best is so much fucking better than this. And
Mm-hmm.
I may be doing what I'm capable of right now, but
Mm-hmm.
it is far from my best. And
Mm-hmm.
how selfish of me to the life that I want to not be in that best version. Like, it's I think at this point it's defining, and it's not just like, oh, like I want these things in my life. No, bitch, I need to go after them. There's no
Yeah.
more like, I'm 30. It doesn't if I don't start now, it will never start. And I know that there's people that write books in their 40s and their 60s, and there's always great things that can
Yeah.
happen to you, but I don't have time to fucking wait.
No, and you know what? It doesn't matter what age you're at. I also think that 30 is like a really cool time to start conceptualizing some of these things. I also really think Saturn return kicked the living shit out of me and yeeted me into like a new frame of life.
Yeah.
But like you are motivated now.
Yeah.
As much as you lack, you're lacking motivation in areas of your life that you deserve to be watering, right? Like you deserve that life. You also have the motivation
Yeah.
now, right?
Yeah.
Like things
Yeah.
are changing, and letting go of like stagnancy,
Mm-hmm.
comfort in stagnancy,
Yeah.
I would say, like you've gotten a little bit too complacent,
Yeah, no, it's nothing's being shook up right now, and the
Mhm.
uncomfortableness that I'm in is really only of my own doing.
Mhm.
So it's like it's just not fair to continue down that
No,
road. Like what's the
no.
point,
Yeah.
And
If it's a prison of your own making, fucking jailbreak.
yeah, I think the best thing that you can ever do is get sick of your own shit, because it
Oh yeah, I
it
love
absolutely
that.
pushes you into a new place of being like, God, that bitch was annoying. What was she
Mhm.
fucking doing? And that's how I felt. That's how I feel about how much I've changed since like 2019-ish. Like
Yeah.
we'll put like last breakup kind of thing, and like just who I was. And not that I've
Mhm.
shortchanged like my core values, but like just in responses and communication, in
Mhm.
my own thoughts, and like all those things. I was sick of my shit. I was sick of being told certain things about the way I was responding, and that's why this most recent time of being told that my tone was off or something, I was like, I know for a fact right now that it's not, because I know what
Yeah.
I used to fucking sound
Yeah.
like, and
Yeah.
this ain't it.
Yeah.
So
No.
yeah,
It's a
that's
good
my
it's a good place to be in, and I absolutely have all faith in you that you'll let go of that shit, because those are aspects that don't serve you, and you're like ready to fucking
yeah,
get moving. Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so
For
your
me,
turn.
you know what? And this goes back to like, a point that we touched on very briefly. I wanted to save it for this. I am letting go. I'm gonna do my absolute fucking hardest to let go of the sense of entitlement that I feel on social media.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel as though, because I've been doing what I've been doing for so long, I feel entitled
Yeah.
toward, those viral videos. I feel like, I'm sorry, like I've put the work in for this long. We
Yeah.
literally laid the groundwork for the field that, other people are just like skyrocketing to success on. Like,
Mm-hmm.
where's that? Like, yeah, it's a sense of entitlement, and it's self-defeating,
Yeah.
because when I don't get that, um, I just kind of sit in my, I stew over it, and
Mm-hmm.
it builds resentment toward other people that are doing better than me. And it puts me in a place where I am the idiot that knows everything,
Yeah.
right? Like, and that's not a place of learning, right? Like that's
No.
just, I think for OGs especially, if you're not, if you're not going viral on Instagram, you don't have 10 videos with over 1 million views or like, all that shit, like it can be really tempting to fall into this like oh, like, I deserve it. Yeah, I do deserve it. But sitting in that mindset, it's just a waste of my fucking time.
Yeah, no,
You know?
it is. It hurts your confidence, and it's
Yeah.
got nothing to do with the other people being
No.
successful. Like,
No, it doesn't.
and it
Right?
feels like it does. It feels like it's a personal attack. It's like
It does.
when we were talking about this earlier, I had said that it's like when someone finds out, like everyone starts listening to your favorite song, and you're like, no, that was my song first. Like,
Yeah.
and that's kind of how it feels. You have tons of younger, not even younger, just newer people
Mm-hmm.
that come in and are successful right off the bat, and you're like, bitch, I've
Yeah.
been doing this forever. And I also
Yeah.
had to, like, I got tired of seeing people that were succeeding on Twitter. Like, that was why I mean,
Yeah.
still to this day, I'm like, I don't really use it very much because it's hard to look at it. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
well, that's great for you, but what about me?
I know. You're like, okay, so what are you telling me that like I get 100 views on this?
Mhm.
Like, and that's it. Like that's just entitlement, and it prevents me from consistency. Like, I'll hit the ground running, I'll make a bunch of stuff, and then it just doesn't like do well immediately, and I once again I kind of feel like throwing in the towel.
Mhm.
And I'm really excited to let go of those aspects. Yeah, that's the biggest aspect of myself that I'm set on letting go of.
Yeah.
And for me that looks like cheering other people on,
Mhm.
doing that thing which I'm actually really good at,
Yeah.
of like looking at other people's success and feeling joy for them,
Yeah.
right? Because that makes me feel good. That makes me like want to be on these platforms more often. That makes me able to learn from
Mhm.
what they're doing. And like, I'm not gonna try for 1 second to say that like my style of being on the internet, my style of content creation will be the same as someone who's a decade younger than me, right?
Yeah.
It won't. But I look at what I bring to the table, and instead of being like, well, I deserve this, I deserve that, I go, okay, how can I bring myself exactly as I am
Mhm.
into this next era? How do I adapt while also being so happy for everybody around me?
Yeah. No, that's so true. Like
Yeah.
letting go of that like envy part that
Yeah.
is not helpful to your own confidence
No.
or going to change anything. And
No.
maybe even trying to reframe that, like, this reel didn't work for me. I can try it again and then try something else, because
Yeah.
like it's so hard to want to do anything else after that first one doesn't work, but
Mm-hmm.
it's like you can't stop. So
No. And if it means that instead of posting one video that gets 10,000 views, I post 10 videos that each get 1,000, the outcome's still the same,
mhm.
right? Like it's stewing in my, well, there's no point in doing it anyway because everybody else is doing better than me. Like I may as well make the 10 videos.
Yeah.
But you may as well just keep going. So,
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's true. And it's like
which,
what you said to me when I was quitting Cam. You had said that, I could either sit, and this is like a couple weeks before, where I was like, I couldn't get online and I knew I needed to. And you were like, you can either cry that it wasn't good enough, or you can get on every day and at least thank yourself for being on when you're done.
yep.
Like, regardless of how much, money you make or whatever. So
God, I'm so wise and smart and
you fucking
interesting.
are. I think about these things all the time.
Yeah. Kenneth, what do you hope for yourself in the coming year? Actually, no, Uno reverse. I'm answering this question fucking first. I am so hopeful and excited for and fucking amped for podcast season 2,
Woohoo!
bitches. Yo,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah. I'm
Oh
super
my
fucking
God.
excited. We already were talking a little bit earlier, and we both have just like so many ideas that are just gonna be so much fucking fun. And we're not gonna tell you anything because we are professionally hot and we keep these
Yeah.
things to ourselves until they're actually coming out.
Yeah.
But
But
it's
just
really
like,
exciting.
expecting to see us on other platforms, like expecting the fucking, again, like I love the jank era. This really feels like 2013 MFC,
Mm-hmm.
and then we're gonna move into like when people started using DSLRs.
Yeah, no, it's
You
true.
know, like season 2 is gonna be so fun, and I'm like so fucking excited for 2024 of Professionally Hot. So excited.
Yeah, what's one thing that you want to see come to fruition for our podcast for this next year?
It seems like maybe I don't think this is basic at all. I'm seeing come to fruition like a TikTok account,
Mm-hmm.
a Instagram account of like, okay, I love, maybe this is a red flag and y'all can judge me, but like I love the Tiny Meat Gang podcast.
Yeah.
I don't listen to the whole episodes because I don't know, I have a podcast and I don't even fucking listen to podcasts. But
Yeah.
I love watching the like 10-minute like clip stuff,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
No, me too.
And I love like catching what is it? Is it called the Basement Boys or the
Mm-hmm.
Basement?
Something like that,
Just
yeah.
the Basement. Like those two dudes, those like two fucking dudes that are hilarious. Like their short forms come up on my TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
And I see just like cutely edited, shout out to my editor, the Puppy Shy, hire him for your stuff. You know, creating these like hysterical clip moments of you and I that
Yeah,
like,
we are Joe and Frank. Like
yeah, we are
that is
fucking Joe and
the
Frank,
vibes. We're
exactly.
just
And
talking
like,
about different shit, but like the conversations that we've sent each other from them are like so on par with the way that we talk to each other on FaceTime.
yeah, they're so fucking good. And like that's what I see coming to fruition. I just see all of
Mm-hmm.
these clips. I don't give a fuck if they get 1,000 views. I'm excited to watch them myself.
Yeah, no, same. I literally love watching any videos of us.
Yeah, me too.
So even if the views are just us, which they won't be because people, I think having that TikTok and Instagram reel kind of vibes come through are going, because I know other people like watching those too. Like
Yeah, yeah, they're great.
I showed you that one of that girl talking about how she fell down one step.
Yeah.
And like that, like they're literally, their podcast, I think it's called like Giggle Squad or something. And someone sent in a message to them being like, this isn't a podcast that I would come to like learn things. And they were like, yeah, we never said that we were here
Yeah,
to teach you
exactly.
anything. They're like, did you think by our podcast name, the Giggle Squad, that you were gonna learn anything?
Something?
So like
No.
I just feel like having and being able to like listen to other podcasts that really are similar to the way that you and I have our chemistry is like, why wouldn't ours be successful in that way too?
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
so yeah, the TikTok,
Yeah.
Instagram reel stuff are they're
Yeah.
gonna pop off for us.
Precisely. And just like reaching, you know, a new audience, right? Because I am that audience. I'm not someone that seeks out podcasts, but I get so much joy out of seeing those little like TikToks, those fucking 20-second TikToks, like from a podcast that are hysterical.
Yeah, same.
So I see
So
that
good.
coming to fruition big time.
And then in your life for Cam and just regular life things, what are you
for sex work? Like for me, I this is back to that kind of Twitter post that I made. But one thing that I hope for myself and also for the industry overall is I'm actually hoping for more space in OnlyFans sex work for personality.
Yeah.
That's
great.
I think like, you know, when I left MFC, and I think, you know, similarly for you, like I was able to be my more holistic self while also doing something hot on cam, because that was what the platform really supported.
Yeah.
And OnlyFans wasn't that from the get-go.
No, it's true.
I think that's what it made it attractive at first, because it allowed me to sort of like keep myself a little bit more private and keep myself, you know, like take my personality away and guard it a little bit and love it, you know, privately for a little bit. But I'm really hoping for myself. I mean, I know I'm going to do this anyway, so it's not really a hope. I'm just doing it. Like,
yeah, you're bringing it in.
I'm excited for creators to tilt toward more stupid shit. You know, like not every single post on OnlyFans has to be, you know, some super sexually charged, like whatever. Like, I'm excited to carve out space for like a random dumb talking video.
Yeah.
Right? Like, yeah, I might be fucking, you know, in lingerie, but I want to like say something stupid or like share something about like, I changed my this is the groundwork, right? You can set an auto message on OnlyFans that when someone new subscribes, they immediately get a message.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody that's all the subscribers, they know that that message is something like, hi, this is me. I'm super duper horny all the time. And here's a video of me that is super duper horny. And you can get it for $5 cheaper than if you like get it elsewhere. Right.
Yeah.
But it's so generic now.
Mm-hmm.
And so I changed mine to a talking video where like I introduce myself and I tell people that I fucking love The Legend of Zelda.
Yeah, I'm literally doing
And
that this week because it's such a good idea.
yeah, and that like I said, you know, here's how to actually get to know me. Like send me memes in my
Mhm.
DMs. Send me pictures of your pets in my DMs. Like, you know, yeah, I'm gonna offer you horny shit, but like I also am making space for me now, and I want to
Yeah.
make space for my subscribers as well.
Yeah, no, I think that's
Um,
beautiful.
I think it should be more fucking fun. It's
You're just
4
being
years
more
in, it's getting
you.
repetitive. Like it's time to bring the chaos a little bit more, and people are already really receptive to that.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, you're just being you, like
Yeah,
online. Like you don't have to just be a sexy, horny girl. You're not.
yeah,
Like that's not realistic.
no, and you know that again, this is a much bigger topic, and we'll end up probably tackling this in season 2 because I think this would be a whole fucking episode. But the amount of management is very obvious now. Like
Mhm.
most subscribers know that mega pages, you know, they have teams behind them. They have
Yeah.
sexting teams, they have management teams, and as great as that is for income and for a lot of subscribers, you know, they subscribe, they want to sext right away. Well, if the creator is fucking sleeping, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, she can't offer that the 24 hours a day. So, you know, income's a team, and if it works for both parties, then like get your rocks off, do what you got to do.
Yeah.
But I think like subscribers are getting a little bit tired of it. They know they if they follow someone on socials and that person is even a little bit themselves, and then they go onto OnlyFans and the personality is completely different,
Mhm.
it's not providing that creator connection. I think that
No,
OnlyFans
especially if they
subscribers are
signed
looking
up.
for.
Yeah, especially if they signed up for the personality part. Like I
Yeah.
already knew they were hot, but
Yeah. And
yeah.
like this is no fucking shade to the girlies
No.
that are doing what they need to do to get the bag. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it
Do it
also
to it.
benefits people looking to masturbate immediately.
Mhm.
You know, but I hope for myself in this coming year to bring that shift on my own page, and if it causes a ripple even just in a few people, I hope it's fun for all of us.
Yeah. No, I think it will be. I think that's probably exactly what OnlyFans needs, and who knows what they could implement just because people are looking for a more community-based vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then what about your life for 2024, not just camming and podcast?
I am okay. Strength is one thing,
Mhm.
right? Lifting weights, you know, you can be great at lifting weights, but can you run a marathon?
Yeah.
Right. Endurance is now coming into play.
Mhm.
It's been 7 months, and it's not going to get better. It's actually going to get horrifyingly worse.
Mhm.
And so I'm hoping that I can foster endurance, and like that comes along with having to carve out even more space, more energy, more time for like recouping in like a half hour space, you
Yeah.
know? Like how do I go from like actually viscerally traumatized 1 second to I have half an hour in between these appointments and I need to pull myself together,
Right.
right? I need that endurance. So I hope for myself in my real life, like every year for New Year's, I've gone in being like, I hope for like, you know, kind of really like, it's not
Surface
that I'm,
level.
yeah, or like, you know, very personal, very whatever.
Mhm.
And I'm being realistic when I say that I know 2024 is going to be an extremely challenging year.
Yeah.
And so I just hope for A, personal endurance, and B, continuing to actually call in the disaster control crew. Like podcast listeners, I need you to know that I fucking had a mentee B, an actual like mental breakdown like 3 weeks ago. And within 48 hours, both Ash and Kenzie were at my door. You guys live in the States. Like
Yeah.
Ken's literally Ken's posted on Twitter and was like, I need a flight now and I need help with it financially. And it happened, right?
Yeah,
Like,
shout out to everyone that helped, guys, by the way.
oh
That
my
was
God.
really, we're
Yeah.
really thankful.
And then to take a week off, right? Like, you know, to take a week away from actually making any income because I was on the floor, right? Like, I will continue to ask for help, right?
Yeah.
I have to. I don't have a choice. And that's so fucking hard. So I hope that I have the strength to continue to ask for help.
Yeah, that's totally
Yeah.
fair, my dude.
Yeah.
And
How about you, baby girl? How about you?
Yes, before I say my things, going back to your last one, I just think that like it's a lot of people were like, thank you so much for taking care of her. And while I understand those thank yous, because it's a place from people that can't, like, don't have the options to do any of those things, especially like internet people, it wasn't a thought for Ash or I to to do it, because you would have, like, and that wasn't a hard question to answer, a hard thing to do. Like, it was just yes. Like, no question behind it. So you asking for help had no downfall, you know what I mean? Like, there was it was like, yeah, no shit. Like, obviously I'm coming too bad. Like, even if you had said no, Ash and I still would have showed up. Like, and that's just the truth, you know.
And I mean, I need to shout out, like, I have to give a little backstory to the Tumblr bitches in the crowd, because I know y'all here, we've been talking about Tumblr. You know, ask, like, this is a tough one. As a Tumblr bitch, especially as a Tumblr, like, my Tumblr was not for my real life friends, right?
Yeah.
My Tumblr was for the internet people that were so far away from me that they couldn't really stop me from doing things or rush in to help, right? And so I learned how to express my feelings or express my need for help in spaces where people actually couldn't provide it for me.
Right.
So I never really learned how to ask for help, and I think that's very relatable.
Yeah, no, it definitely is for a lot of people.
And I did, this was convoluted as well. Like, I went on my private Twitter and I just posted this, like, screenshot of my notes app, which was obviously extremely concerning. I never said, like, someone please come. I don't have the vocabulary for that. That's so hard for so many people.
Yeah.
And Ash read that, and then the next, I got a text 15 minutes later that said, my train will be there tomorrow, and if you don't let me in, I'll break your door down.
Yeah.
Get yourself to, all you could ever hope for in life is friends that are as good as you guys are to me. So fucking love you forever, bro.
Yeah, love you too.
Yeah.
Okay, so for my podcast hopes, pretty much same as yours. Like, I'm just excited for, like we were talking to Nevada, shout out Nevada. She and I were talking about merch and just, like, how much fun those things will be. So, like, expect that in 2024, because, like, I want to wear a fucking shirt that says professionally hot. Like,
I'm so excited to wear shirts that say professionally hot.
And those things, like, open up more space to, like, go do photo shoots with, like, cute girls and just, like, people in general who, like, are professionally hot. And so, like, yes, I'm very excited about those things. I can see, I may not have much motivation in my life, but I can see so much for our podcast that just, like, actually makes me excited. And I'm holding on to those feelings because, like I said, I don't get them very often.
Well, so, yeah, you're working on, like, you love this shit. So you love our baby podcast so much that you're able to be like, I need the motivation to do this thing that I'm so fucking excited about.
Yeah, you're always like, thank you for editing. I'm like, no, thank you for letting me edit.
Yeah, shout out to you for editing every episode. By the way, I don't do jack shit. I literally just show up here. She makes all the graphics. She does all the editing.
No, it's great. And I
think
Little
Miss No Motivation here is, like, busting her ass for the podcast.
Fuck yeah, I am. But I think, like, another thing that will be exciting is, like, me and you being able to carve out actual, like, times to be professionally hot and to, well, more than we already are now. That's not sex work adjacent, like, in our sweatpants kind of thing, and being able to, like, have it on YouTube and have the reels and the Instagram stuff, and, like, just having it, like, be more than what I even thought about when we first started it, because I was just like, yeah, we'll just, like, get on the fucking internet and just talk about things.
Talk shit.
But, like, that only goes so far before we were like, actually, should we make this, like, legit?
No, like, this is a thing. No, it's so fun. It's so fun, and it brings, like, new joy to being in the industry, but in a It's like, you know what? We went from being sports players to fucking like commentators.
Yeah.
You know, and this is like a whole new way to bring everything we know and love about sex work into like a different sphere. This is so sick.
I know.
Okay.
But yeah, it's ours, and that's just so nice for both of us. And like I said, like when we start to actually be able to like be like, this is it's a business, you know, like it's
Yeah,
not,
like we're doing
we're business ladies, but we're also business ladies, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
Yeah.
have very high hopes for us, but like realistic ones, because like why wouldn't it all just like work out
I
for
know,
us,
it's
you
so
know? Yeah.
fun.
So I'm really excited for
Yeah.
those things. For
Yeah.
sex work adjacent things to bring into the new year, it is just that motivation that I was talking about. It's just like
Mhm.
being, you know, like I want to delete everything off my page. I want to restart and like fresh it out so it's like
Mhm.
nothing that I had seen before, and just like actually
Yeah.
post. I do like it's like it reminds me of when I was in grade school and would have to do homework and I'd leave it to the last minute. I will do that with OnlyFans, and I'm like, this doesn't have to be like that. Like just answer the message,
No.
you know. But it's the
Yeah.
self-sabotage, and I'll get to it tomorrow
Yeah.
kind of mentality. So I'm really leaving that behind, but bringing in the like let's fucking go mentality for it, and not to wear myself
Yeah.
out or be fucking completely burnt out at the end, but to be
Yeah.
like, yes, I did that, and I can keep going, and it's not overbearing anymore, because that's really
Yeah.
how it feels for the past year. So
And you know what? You can cut this out if you want to, or you can leave it in to let the people hear the fucking behind the scenes a little
yeah,
bit. But you know, you speaking about like starting fresh, starting whatever, like episode 1 of season 2 can literally just be called a whole new world because you know, we are if in staying in sex work, we're in a whole new landscape. This is you know, bringing what we brought to MFC to OnlyFans, it no longer translates, right?
yeah,
Like it is a whole new world, and keeping up with it means like that same sort of like no entitlement, excitement instead. How we doing this today?
yeah,
You know, how we doing this in 2024? And I think like season 1 being like, you know, very much a recap of, I mean, we started off discussing the history of Cam,
yeah.
right? Like where Cam started, and now we get to move into what the fuck are we doing now?
Yeah, no, it's so true.
That's pretty
Yeah, it is
cool.
really cool. And then just for
Yeah.
my life, I'm just bringing in like adult Kenzie version. Like I want to like work on my body. I want, and like these are the like surface level ones, because I feel like the other ones are already like stuff that like the like laziness and ADHD kind of thing that is like
Yeah.
life ones, because it will benefit me in other ways. But like having like a routine, like having
Yeah.
some sort of like thing that actually like brings me joy and isn't just a task, like the podcast. Like it doesn't feel like it's work or a task. It feels like we,
Yeah,
you
but
know,
it's
like,
fun as
yeah,
fuck.
we get to do it, not we have to. And that was the whole point of starting this, was that like it shouldn't have any pressure on it. And like now we can get to a place where like, okay, we can put a little bit more pressure because we want it to be something more than it was the first, you know, season.
Yeah,
But
yeah, we're up in the ante,
yeah,
and that's kind of fun.
yeah,
Like it doesn't really feel like pressure; it just feels
no, it's just
like
like the
the
next
natural
step.
next like
Yeah,
step.
exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I think that that's like for my like life one, like just like I want to have a glow up, like, and in more ways than one,
Girl,
you
holy
know.
fuck! I want my hair extensions back so fucking bad. I was actually talking about this earlier. What do I hope for myself next year? Enough money to get my fucking hair done again. Okay.
Yeah, I feel that. Like I want my nails to be done because I
I
take care
know
of
my nails
myself. Like
done. Like, look at my fucking toes right now. No foot fetishes is gonna want to see this unless they have like a fucking sad fetish going
yeah, well,
on.
a lot of them do. So
Yeah, no glow
yeah,
ups
just
in
like,
like emotional and physical ways because
yeah,
like we
and
can still want
like
more
smartness
hotness.
ways too. Like I want to read more books and stop watching so much fucking TV. I'm like draining my brain. And I love TV. I love being in my comfort zone, but like it's not suiting me anymore. So that's my glow up parts. It's like it's not just my looks. Like I want my body to feel healthy. I want to be able to like I want to
Mhm.
get my shaking taken care of because I have like a tremor. Like
Mhm.
there's like those things that I'm like, okay, these are like things that will help me glow up, and it's not just like
Yeah,
materialistic, like, oh, I need new clothes kind of thing, you know?
yeah,
So I'm excited for those things, and I'm excited for your things. I think we're just gonna 2024 is I'm tired of saying like it's gonna be the best year because it's just not realistic. I think you get to a
not at
certain
all.
point where you're like, that's not how that works. Like, but I'm determined to have some of my best times. Like
Yeah.
That's all I can ask for, and I will make an
You
effort to
know,
do that.
one thing I am learning, and I'm going to pass this on because I hope nobody ever has to learn them in the same circumstances. Caring for a parent. My mom's only 59,
Mm-hmm.
with terminal cancer. It's really teaching me that when things aren't going to get better, or if you don't believe things are going to get better for whatever, realm that you're thinking about, there are always small moments of joy
Mm-hmm.
or enjoyment that can be taken out of even like the worst fucking
Yeah.
circumstances, right? And I think for all of, our listeners out there, if listening, to the podcast, if listening to Professionally Hot for an hour, or 87 minutes and 20 seconds, if that's something that carves out just that amount of time for you,
Mm-hmm.
to just kind of enjoy yourself, like that counts as a
Yeah.
win. Even if you're like, okay, let's be fucking honest here, 2024 is going to be tough. There are still little moments of good times that will happen no matter what. Statistically, it's impossible for them not to happen.
Yeah.
So you may as well you may as well carpe the diem, even if the diem is unfortunately like a 30-minute period of
Yeah.
time. You know what I mean? There's always joy to be found, and I'm really appreciative of everybody listening to this, because
Mm-hmm.
I hope you get a little fucking time for yourself
Yeah.
when you
Same.
do this.
Okay, are we
Yeah.
on our last question about what we're asking each other?
Okay. Kenzie, what are you proud of me for 2023? Like, what is something that you feel proud of me for?
I have actually been thinking about this since we came out. And you had said earlier that you hope that you can like continue to ask for help and you're proud of yourself for asking for help. But I think I don't think that I think that you've struggled in the past with asking for help, but I think that you're really in a state of like being able to receive the help. Like I think there's a big
Mm,
difference in like being like I need this and then not getting what you actually needed and stuff. And as hard as that post was to read, it like showed me exactly what you needed to not have to like you were asking in those moments and that was
yeah.
enough and I heard it and I was like okay well I can do these things like very easily and I will ask you for permission beforehand but I'm not looking for a yes or no answer as to do you want this because I already know you do like so I think you receiving that help and being like yeah sure like is so different from how you've been and like you can't do it all and you shouldn't fucking have to and you have enough to already fucking do that you shouldn't have to and just like being able to see you like take on the help from like whether it's your family or like letting them do the things that they can do without having to like martyr yourself because those are
Yeah.
so it's elder
It's
daughter
ingrained. It's
yeah
eldest daughter
it really
syndrome.
is and like I can see a huge difference in you with like letting someone take care of you. It may not be enough right now and you may need more of that, which is also totally fucking reasonable. But
Yeah.
at the same time like it will probably never be enough because it's just like you don't even know what you need half the time as and that's just for like people speaking it's not just you obviously like we don't always know what we need in those moments and I think you just being like accepting to letting someone do those things for you is beautiful and very difficult and
Thank
but
you.
like worth it in the long run and to see that difference in you is like so nice like it's like you deserve that help and that's very obvious but it's a whole different thing to be like yes I deserve this help like it's easy for me to say yeah you deserve it but
Yeah.
taking it on yourself it can feel like a burden it can feel like you're asking for too much and those things are so hard to navigate and to like shut off and to tell the thoughts like to fuck off because like my body needs this who cares about what my mind needs right now so I'm very
Thank you.
proud of you for that. It's really
Thank you very much.
beautiful to see you be vulnerable, I guess, is the only way
Yeah.
to like really put it. And for your strength, like to you have fucking you're just like you it sounds so cliche to be like you're so strong, but like it's you're doing like unthinkable things and that is not a task that no one could ever see coming
No.
and like you fucking regardless of any, little mental bees, you fucking went at it straight on, dog. Like,
Yeah.
you really just went gung ho. And I think that that's like, it's just different for you. And it's something
Mhm.
that like you're leaning into, even if you're fighting tooth and nail, like you've
Yeah.
still leaned into it in a way that like a lot of people can't. And yeah, for those things, I'm very proud of you. And that's why it was so easy to be out there, because I was like, okay, I know what she needs, and I don't think that she will say no. Or like
Yeah.
even just you telling me certain things that are like personal, like you saying something afterwards about like, don't worry about it. I'm like, I trust you. Like I
Mhm.
trust you, and I will believe you when you say something out of a joke, or when you're saying something out of like, I'm not joking, but I'm not going to like, do anything that's going to set me back 10 steps,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So you're very
That
trustworthy, and you've always been trustworthy, but I mean for yourself,
is
like
true.
when it comes to
Yeah.
like seeing you as yourself and what you're going through right now, I'm like, I
Thank you.
trust her fully to do what she has to do. You're
Thank you.
you're not in your 20s anymore either. And I think that comes
No.
with age, to be like,
Yeah.
you know, just you
Yeah.
can rely on yourself right now for the
Yeah.
most part. And that's
Yeah.
so
Thank
fucking
you.
difficult, but also
Thank you.
amazing.
And I will say, first of all, thank you, because
Yeah.
yeah, yes, I like there really are no words, and thank you. And I definitely agree with you
Mhm.
on all of that shit, like all the way through. And I think that this is a topic that resonates with it. There's no way that no one listening to this right now doesn't relate. I just want to say that if you are the type of person, if you have eldest daughter syndrome, regardless of whether or
Yeah.
not you are one, if you're the type of person to you know reject help when you need it, if you don't know how to ask for it at all, or
Mhm.
if you ask for it and then when it's offered you just kind of recoil, or especially if you're the type of person that thinks that you have to do it all and that it
Mhm.
has to be done your way, or else like it's trusting in other people,
Yeah.
right? Like it's letting go of control, and trusting that other people either will do the right job to help you,
Mhm.
which is so fucking vulnerable because sometimes people fuck up,
Oh yeah.
right?
No,
Like
100%.
it's if you've been burned that way before, if you've asked for help and you haven't received it the way that you actually needed to,
Mhm.
asking for help again, fuck that,
Yeah.
right?
No,
Like
why would you?
but the reality is that sometimes life will come and kick you in the fucking vagina
Mhm.
so hard that it puts you in a place where you have to learn this really fast.
Yeah.
And that's not that I would not advise that. So like if there's inner work that you can start doing now when you're not actively in crisis,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a good idea to start working on that like
Yeah.
right now.
Do your shadow work.
Start that shit now because it's a lot. I'm thank you, and I appreciate literally all of that because all of it is true.
Yeah.
And it also all happened because I almost had no other choice. I
Yeah.
still could have chosen to continue doing things the way I was doing, but it was next to fucking impossible.
Yeah. Well, and that's
Um,
that's kind of the learning curve right there, is that's
it's
like,
sharp, and if
yeah.
for any again, like life will punch you in the genitals. So like
Mhm.
if that's where you're at, if you're very much a lonely island of like it's only me that can do it all and no one can help me,
Yeah.
reframe your mind real quick before shit hits the fan.
Yeah, and try and reframe that into, I'm really glad I can help myself, but it doesn't mean that other people can't give me like what I need,
Yep.
and even if it's in the smallest forms.
Yeah, practice it now.
Yeah.
Gotta
Yeah.
practice that shit now.
No, I agree.
Ken's, I am so fucking proud of you for thawing the Ice Queen.
Me too. Thank you.
Some of the shit you've done this year, like you did an amazing thing for yourself that lasted many years, right? Like
Mhm.
Ken's decided to go celibate
Yeah, I
and
was
it
like,
lasted
no
for
more
a long
men.
time. No, and you were in a place where you could have decided otherwise. You could have done so many other things, but you did a really hard thing.
Yeah.
Um, and you learned a lot from it. And then you got to this place where you were like, no, you know what? Like, it's go time actually. And I couldn't be more proud of yourself for like putting yourself out there and going, yeah, like, yeah, you little manifester, you sit with your cards and your crystals and yourself, but you realize that conceptualizing just wasn't going to actually get you to where you needed to be.
Mhm.
And you literally chased your idea down the street one time.
Yeah.
Right, like,
Yeah.
and things have just been like, it's like you spent years kind of cocooned, because it was necessary,
Hmm.
and leaving that cocoon, I can't imagine how hard that, like, I don't know, but like seeing you go through it, like, that's been fucking challenging, and you could have chosen to go right back to where you were, where you knew,
Yeah.
but you didn't.
Yeah, no, I mean that's very true. It's not an easy transition, but I think
No.
instead of closing myself off during that 4 years, I mean, very obviously I was loving myself more and like relearning a lot of things and learning myself and giving myself intimacy and like non-sexual intimacy
Yeah.
and taking a break from sharing my body with someone who like didn't deserve it,
Yeah.
and
I,
re-clearing all that.
yeah, and Kenz, I can't, like, leaps and bounds,
Hmm.
you've grown so much this year, and like, again, the pudding is in the proof, Kenneth. Like, fucking the way that you just handled, this living space, this roommate, this chaos thing that unfolded over the last, rapid fire, like 2 months. Everything happened so fast, and you just have developed like poise and decorum and this ability to be like so strong, so because you still have to contain the beast. Like,
Hmm.
she's there, and she'll
Oh
protect
yeah.
you when she needs to, but you were able to look objectively at the situation and go, that's not advantageous for me right now. So I'm letting her take a back seat.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do what 2023 Kenzie has learned how to do. And that's fucking so badass. Like, you're so fucking impressive.
Thanks.
And
I really appreciate it.
I'm so proud of you, dude, for making all of these big change. Like, this has been a year of massive change for you. And
Yeah.
I could just see the little shaky mess that I flew out,
I
all those
know.
years ago. Like, I see that
know.
like little woman that was so fucked up,
I
and like,
know.
now to see you now, it's just wild. Like,
I
yeah,
know.
2023 has been a big year, and I'm so fucking proud of you.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. I'm very proud of you too. I'm proud of us in general. And I think having friends that you can see, like you can ask that question and get a real answer. And it's like you have someone else that's tracking your progress too. And that for you to be able to reflect back on is so fucking nice. Like, and like I've shown you pictures of myself when I was like a kid and like a teenager. I look completely fucking different. And now I look completely fucking different from that version that I was out. Like when we were looking at the videos when I was up there and like of all these past videos, and I'm like, who the fuck is that girl?
Like, who is that?
Like,
yeah, exactly.
just like, yeah. And the Ice Queen has definitely melted in many ways. She's like you said, she still has a foot on a break once in a while to give me my space to have that boundary and be an Ice Queen if I need to. But like the softer being in my feminine person is like who I've become, and it's so nice. And like I can revert back to myself instead of bad habits because the good habit is me now.
Yeah, dude, that's boss as shit. Like,
yeah,
that
it's
is
really
so
nice.
Professionally hot of you.
Yeah, I'm very professionally hot, in case you guys didn't know. But no, it's very true. I'm very proud of both of us. We really are God's toughest soldiers.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude.
But this was a beautiful podcast episode and
a beautiful season.
Yes, and our first season is officially complete with our 11 episodes. And thanks for listening, guys. Can't say it enough.
Thank you for listening.
Excited for season 2. We're gonna take a little break for us to like get into the new year vibes, but I would say like probably mid-Jan, late Jan, we'll have our first second season episode come out, and
new thing.
Hopefully that'll be on, well, no, I'm not gonna say hopefully, it will be on YouTube too, and we'll have just more, you can see our cute faces because we're pretty freaking cute.
We are adorable. We are so cute, and everybody that's listening is so fucking sexy and cool. And to everyone that listened to us while cleaning your house, I hope you had a great time.
Yes, true. Taking your dog for a walk.
Your chores are done. Enjoy your, shout out to fucking all of you doing your things and listening to us at the same time because it's so cool.
Yeah, and our second season will be fucking even better. It's gonna be more professionally hot than you could have fucking thought.
Oh my god. Okay. Well, thank you for everything. Thank you, Kenneth. Thank
Yes.
you for me.
Happy New
Kenneth.
Year to everyone. Welcome to 2024, and I hope your new year is as great as you are.
Love you, okay, bitches.
Bye.
Bye.